Hey, what up? My name Jeff. No, okay, what's up? It's Zach again. If you watched my previous video, you would have known that I'm trying to build a theater. Um, I'm trying to build a live performing theater with real people. I guess not a movie theater, a performing theater. So if you haven't watched that, go do that. I kind of explain what the plan is, which is really just to build a theater. Um, so, yeah, um, subscribe. Anyway, okay, so here's the point of this story. Um, I'm pretty sure this is the only ghost experience that I ever have. Now, some backstory for me personally. I've always believed that there's something. You know what I mean? Like there has to be something, whether it's ghosts and demons or whether it's heaven and hell, kind of the same thing. There's something. There's something. You know what? There can't. I think that you have to be a certain level of naive and close-minded to believe that there's nothing else besides human beings living and dying, and that's it. Then just, you're done. So yeah, I do believe in ghosts. I do believe in spirits. I believe in demons. I believe in all that crap. But to my knowledge, I have never experienced anything except this story. Now, I grew up in a home that was extremely haunted, according to my family. I don't personally remember much of anything, and like I said, I don't think I've ever seen anything excluding the story I'm about to tell. Because some people claim that spirits they're just like clouds of smoke, an apparition, and they disappear. Some say that they look like real humans and you can't distinguish between it as a ghost or a human. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't claim to know either. So maybe I have seen something. I don't know. But to my knowledge, I've never seen a ghost besides what I'm about to explain. Again, now, I've, heard footsteps all the time, constantly, TVs turning on and off, strange noises, things being moved, not seeing anything move personally, but knowing where it is and then coming back and it's in a different location, knowing I didn't touch it. Things like that, sure, that's fine, whatever. But like I said, I don't think I've ever seen a real ghost. And I'm like, that's not to say that I don't believe, because I 100% do. So that's just some backstory. The real story that I want to tell you is I worked at a theater in Alpena, Michigan called Thunder Bay Theater just roughly 10 years ago. And there is a spirit that is known to live there that goes by the name of Agnes. And it is a popular myth that she likes to be called Aggie. That is a myth. She does not like that. In fact, most of the time when people call her Aggie or antagonize her, she gets angry. She gets mean, and she does things that are mean. But she's not always like that. She's also done some really nice things. Actually, there's another story I could tell about Agnes helping us for one of our shows before that I could do a separate video on, which I could if I want to. I will. This is my channel. I can do what I want. So the point is, her name is Agnes. She, I believe, died in the 1940s, maybe the 50s. So she's not modern. She's set back in the day. So I worked there as a stage manager. I started as like an intern, kind of. I started as an actor in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Well, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and then like Annie Warbucks and things like that. I was just like an ensemble member until I stuck around long enough and wouldn't leave that I eventually became a company member and eventually landed a paying job there. It pays to be annoying, which is exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm going to be as annoying in all of these videos until I achieve my goal. So like I said, it pays to be annoying sometimes. I landed a job. My first job was at Thunder Bay Theater. Like I said, it pays to be annoying sometimes. So I was working there at the time, and I forget what show we were doing. I forget the year. It was 2000 and um, maybe 2012. And at that time, I was teaching myself how to play the piano, like the keyboard. We had a keyboard at the theater, and I had a key to get in. So I got the okay from my artistic director, and I was like, hey, can I come over to the theater and mess around with the keyboard for a while? And he's like, yeah, sure, just lock up when you're done. And I was like, okay, great. And I lived like 5 blocks away at the time, so I would just walk back and forth. And so it was, it wasn't even that late. It was like 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock at night. So nothing too crazy. And I walked to the theater, and I, walked through the lobby and walked into the theater where it was. And the way that the lobby or the area is set up is you walk in through the door, and immediately in front of you is the stage. You come in, there's the audience, but right in the corner by the stage and the house, there was the keyboard like in the corner. It was a small theater. So it was right up in the corner, and then the booth was all the way in the back, facing the stage. And so I had to go in there, and I brought my laptop because at the time I was teaching myself on like YouTube videos of like the notes, the keys coming down and where the notes are playing, and follow along with that. That's what I would do. I was teaching myself. I was learning how to play "Dearly Beloved" from Kingdom Hearts, if you were wondering. Beautiful song. So anyway, I get in there, and immediately, as soon as I, walked into the building, I just got this weird feeling. I was like, something is weird. I've never really experienced anything at that point, like personally, in the theater. So I didn't have any reason to be creeped out, but I just had this weird feeling. And something else I should say, some of the company members who worked there lived above the theater. There were apartments upstairs, and they would just live upstairs, so you would hear footsteps above you and like the mumbling and TVs and stuff like that. So that wasn't anything too strange, but I just had this weird feeling, and I was like, this is weird. Normally when I did this, I've done this multiple times, gone to play the piano and on our days off and throughout the day and the weekend. And I'd never felt like this before, so I knew something was weird. But I went there anyway, and I was so like was saying, I usually would stay for over an hour. And so anyway, back to the point. I'm there, I'm messing around on the keyboard for a while, and I just get overwhelmed with like this I shouldn't be here right now type vibe. So I'm like, I'm just going to get going. I've only been here for about 20 or 30 minutes. So I pack everything up, and I walk up to the booth to shut all the lights off. Another thing about theaters that I did not know was a thing called a ghost light, which I'm if you're a theater fan, you know what a ghost light is. But for those of you who don't, it's essentially like a thing of respect, I believe. You leave the ghost light on just to be like, cool, we're cool. At least that's what I've gathered from it. And the only time you turn it off is when during a performance. But all of the other time you leave the ghost light on, so that always stayed on, and I never touched that. But up at the booth, I would turn on like the house lights, so that I could see. So I go up there and I'm shutting everything off, and this is where it gets weird. And I'm really hoping that even if you don't believe this, whatever, I don't care. But I'm really hoping that somebody out there can explain to me what happened, because I genuinely have no idea. I don't even know if this was real. But so I'm up there, I shut everything off, and I'm walking out of the door to go back down the stairs to leave. And as I walk out of the door and turn, it's like I became frozen. And everything that happened from here on out until it's done, I was completely frozen. But it was like it was happening in my head, like I could see it. I could see everything happening, but it wasn't actually happening. And okay, it sounds crazy, and it is, I understand that. So what happened was, I was at the top of the the back of the house, right by the booth, and a woman, in her late 30s, maybe early 40s, walked in, with like long, it was either, I mean, she had long black hair, but some of it was like could have been on the sides or maybe like a ponytail. I couldn't quite tell, but she came in and her hands were kind of like this, like around her gut, and she was walking with her head tilted down. And she just walked in and she had this like long kind of flowy blue dress, like a light blue dress with a white stitched flower design all over the dress. Like not a solid line, but like a stitch. Um, and she walked to the foot of the, like in between the keyboard and like the corner of the stage, in between where I was and the corner of the stage. And she just walks there and says very, very quietly, "Hi, I'd like to buy tickets for the next show, please." And at that point, I'm talking. I can, like I said, this is playing out in my brain. Like it seems like I'm seeing this. And I repeat, or like I say to her, I'm like, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't hear that." And she says it again a little bit louder. She says, "Hi, I'd like to buy tickets for the next show, please." And this time I hear her, so I say, "Oh, okay, well, we're closed right now. Honestly, I locked the door when I came in. I don't know how anyway, but if you would come back in the morning, somebody from the office will be here and they can take your, make your reservation." And as I'm saying those last few words, like her head kind of tilts up a little bit and her mouth just starts to open wider and wider and wider and wider, and this demonic shriek came out of her mouth. And like that's the last thing I remember. The next thing I know, like I blink, I'm back to normal, she's gone, I'm standing there like with my arms to my side as stiff as a board. I'm crying and sweating, and like I had no idea what just happened. And for what seemed like hours but was actually like maybe 30 seconds to a minute, I just stood there and I was shaking and just crying, and like I wasn't even crying, but like tears were coming down my face, and I'm like, what just happened? And so it took everything I had to like I reached my hand into my pocket and I just pulled out my phone and I called my friend who was staying at my house at the time. She showed up, I believe, while I was there. And we have that kind of friendship that like when we talk to each other, she's like, "Hey, what's up, dingwad?" And like as soon as I got her on the phone, she said something along those lines. And the only thing I said was like my voice was shaking, like I was breathing heavy, and like I was kind of like crying. And I was like, "Please just keep talking to me, like please just keep talking to me." And immediately, without skipping a beat, she was like, "Boom, I got you." Like just keeps talking about like my dog, how she just got to my house, and like how just a bunch of whatever to just keep talking. Like she got it just immediately. So I don't even know if I grabbed my stuff. I book it. Like I just got out of the lobby. I got out of the door. Well, okay. So this is as soon as I got out of the building. I guess what I was going to say is like that entire time I also felt like pressured, like there was something like pushing down on me, like I was being like something was like I could feel force or pressure or whatever. As soon as I like got outside, it all like it felt like I had just run a mile, like I was exhausted. So I like just put my arm up on the side of the building and I was just breathing and like panting and hyperventilating and whatever, and I had no idea what had just happened. And so it was insane. It was like so that's essentially it. I mean, I have more stories which I will do separate videos on because I need the content, and this is also running a little bit too long. That's what she said. So that's what I believed to be Agnes. And to my knowledge, I didn't do anything to like piss her off or offend her or anything like that. I was just there to play the piano. I didn't know what I did wrong. So this is what I said at the beginning of this, is if anybody knows or has experienced something along those lines that could fill me in on what that might have been, I would appreciate it, because at this point I could refer to it as a vision. Like, not like a That's So Raven vision, but like I was there, I felt like I was watching it, and I can still see it perfectly to this day, and this happened 10 years ago. So if you have experienced anything like that, or know somebody who has, or just have the knowledge of what that is, please hit me up. shoot me a comment on here on Facebook or Facebook, YouTube, and that would be great. Well, I don't really know how to do a wrap up YouTube end, and once again, I don't have any editing software, so it's all a one take. Like the video, subscribe, please. I'm trying to build a theater. I'm trying to get my name out there. I'm trying to get the attention of some big names. And if it's up already, it'll be in the description. But I have an Instagram and a Twitter for this this channel. Maybe go like those. And I will see you very soon because I'm not going anywhere. Have a good day. Bye.